Logan, how you doing, man? Nice to meet
Good.
you.
How are you? Yeah, good to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. Logan Tabor. When I used to live in LA, my street was Tabor. It was Tabor Street. So
All right.
it's just meant to be, man.
We're practically brothers, you and I. It's
Yeah,
like,
apparently. And you're in Wilmington, North Carolina, I take it?
yes, sir. How about you?
Buffalo, Buffalo, New York. You ever been?
No, I've been upstate. I've been like Ithaca and the surrounding area, but never quite Buffalo. Maybe I've passed through Buffalo. I don't know.
Well, the
I'm
city
Bass.
of good neighbors would be more than happy to have you guys come on. We got Logan here, the singer of All the Pretty Things, North Carolina's All the Pretty Things. Um, this is a pleasure, man. So today, March the 27th, 2024, I usually start off with a fact of the day here on I Ask No One, brother.
Love it.
Today is Mariah Carey's 55 years old. Do you believe that?
Damn. All right, girl. Get it.
Yeah, so she I get it. And every year, every Christmas, I did some research. She earns 2.6 million every Christmas because of that All I Want for Christmas Is You song.
Yeah.
And
The gift that keeps on giving.
yeah, do All the Pretty Things have a song up in their repertoire or maybe even coming up that could be multi-million dollar earning?
I would like to think so. I'd like to think we've got a few of them. No Christmas themed tunes just yet, but I mean, who knows? It depends. If they ask for it, I'll do my best. I don't know about a Christmas song, but man, that does sound like a sweet deal, doesn't it?
It does. And for such a new band, a collection of seemingly brothers, you guys I've already been through a lot. You've released a handful of songs and it just got this Deftones. It doesn't quite have the Static X or anything like that.
Oh,
Um,
Static X, man.
yeah, you
Take
like
it
Static?
back.
Yeah,
Hell
yeah. So it's got that Deftones Incubus California, Southern California kind of thing going on. I'm liking it. So today's quote, I usually have a quote of the day, and one that I'm in real estate. So there's someone shared this on my team yesterday. Life is an echo. What you see in others, you see in you. And absolutely agree. So Logan, dude, what are you most excited about on March the 27th of 2024 with your creative band?
Ooh, man, I'm really pumped about this single that we're gonna put out on April 10th. It's called Carousel, and it's a bit of a departure from a lot of the stuff that we've put out so far. But man, it's a rad song. It's something I've been really pumped about since I heard it come to life in the studio months and months ago. It's got like this sexy vibe to it. I think it's a relatable song, and it just kind of shows a different side of all the pretty things, and I'm pretty pumped about it. I think we all are. So I think that's where I'm at on the 27th.
We'll bring on Carousel, not to be mistaken with one of Chester Bennington's first appearances with Linkin Park. There was a song called Carousel. So
Ah,
that's what comes first. It's a good song. I'm sure it's going to be just as good, man. I can't wait to check that out.
yeah.
And, your band is made up of yourself, the singer, who I may say kind of looks like the singer from Red, if you ask me. Do you know him? His
Let
last
me
name
check
is
this
Gray.
out. Two
Yeah,
seconds. I gotta know.
he's got a
Red.
good scream, just like you.
Let me see. Let's see this guy. What's his name? Oh God, yeah, yeah, awesome.
You want to
Yeah,
flash that to the screen there? What you got there?
yeah, yeah. This guy. Oh, let's see if we can get it. Oh, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
That's you. That cow. You know, I was listening to Teenage Lions and that intro drum lick into your vocals has got this Scentless Apprentice Nirvana kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Song starts and boom. But your band's made up of yourself, Logan, Tristan, Jeremy, and Worth. And in your first year together, you've gathered 200, is what I gather is 200,000 Spotify streams. And I've got my view on Spotify and streaming these days. I mean, it's the easiest thing that everyone does. I still
Hmm.
buy my music, you
Love
know,
that. Thank you for that.
individually, right? But props to you guys. And how'd you guys get together? And you guys have known each other for a bit?
Yeah. So, sorry, I'm very distracted by how blown out I am right now. It's freaking me out. I can't really control it. It's just that I'm in this film studio right now, and you would think being in a film studio, the lighting would just be immaculate. I'm getting my
Looks
ass
good
kicked.
over here, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
Maybe
it.
light a candle.
Um, yeah, we came together. So basically, Tristan, who's our guitarist, but I think used to tour on bass for Chiodos, and then our other guitarist Worth, who used to tour with He Is Legend. They met while essentially like helping another producer in North Carolina set up his studio. They were both kind of just like there helping load in gear and plug in cables and that sort of thing. And I guess they hit it off. Tristan had some ideas he wanted to record. Obviously, Worth owns Red Room Recording Studios, which is where we did our album. And so Tristan came by his studio and laid down some ideas. Worth put his ideas on top of it. And then we just kind of started layering and layering until we were like, man, we got some actual songs here. This is good. We should pursue this. And then so we hit up Jeremy Bryan, who plays drums for Alesana, and he's playing with us now. And then Will Sowers, who played bass for Emerosa. So some dudes that we know can like hold their own and kick ass on stage and in the studio. And they were down with it. They love the music, and we've just been working towards it ever since.
Yeah, and you mentioned Alesana. You're going to be going on your first tour this summer with them.
We're working on it. Yeah, it sounds like it's a thing. I don't know if it's been announced, but that's the plan. And we're finally going to get out there and put this thing in front of people. And then there's talk of potentially two more tours after that. This is all TBD at the moment, but it seems like things are picking up and moving in the direction we had intended. Because obviously we don't want to. We love being in the studio, but we don't want to live there forever. I need to come to Buffalo and rock out for you, man. It's the
Yeah,
way.
that'd be killer. We would love to have you. You kidding me?
Heck yeah.
Um, it's one of the most underrated food towns in the world too, by the way.
Oh,
It's the
nice.
city
I
of
like
good
that.
neighbors, and it's the city of good flavors too. I saw that on a sign recently. I thought that was really clever.
Yeah,
Um,
that sounds like two things I'm interested in.
yeah. Well, I'll bring you a soiree of stuff. Would love to see you guys come to Buffalo or Rochester, Western New York. But just correction, it wasn't 200,000 streams, it was 400,000 streams on Spotify in your first year together. That's fucking awesome. I'll fist bump you to that. Oh,
Maybe.
yeah. Yeah, good shit.
Yeah, we're pretty pumped. We've been lucky to have people like Jamie helping us out behind the scenes. We're just a bunch of dudes, and we love music. And if we didn't have Jamie keeping us in line and guiding us towards the light, I feel as though we wouldn't be where we are. So we're very lucky to have her and all the dudes in the band. I mean, they're badasses, and they've been around in the industry for a long time, and it just everything helps. And we had a great first year and a half, and I think we're all kind of over the moon about it.
That's great. That's great. You've been singing for a long time, Logan?
Yeah, yeah, and in many different capacities. I've done the heavy thing for sure. Kind of started out doing like Blink 182 covers and stuff when I was in middle school, and then those morphed into like heavier bands. And then I chilled out for a while, went through a Radiohead phase, and decided to start using my falsetto a whole bunch. And then now I'm back, baby.
Yeah. And you're back to that Deftones, Incubus, A Perfect Circle, that song that you released last month, A New Forever.
Mhm.
Uh, I like that song. I like the artwork too. And I'm sure you could relate when you listen to bands' music. When you're listening to music, you you see that artwork. It's just such a big deal, right? and
Hmm.
I really like the artwork with the snake and the infinity. Where were you going with there? Was that a band's artwork piece, or did you collaborate with someone else?
That's Tristan, the guitarist. So he does all the the graphic design. Um, it's like we've all kind of got a role. Worth is the audio producer. Tristan's the graphic design guy. I'm the video guy, and like we all somehow it worked out great to where we each possess a skill that we secretly needed to be a successful band. And Tristan does a great job, man. And dude, I think honestly that was like the first thing he sent us for that particular single, and we were all just like, "Yep, that's it. Go, just let's do that." Um, and I mean, it worked because "A New Forever." Obviously, there is a infinity connection there, but also there's a lot of metaphor in the song that kind of relates humans to the Discovery Channel. So yeah, it just worked. It made sense. It clicked.
I clicked with that too. A New Forever. I think it's a cool title. And I think with A New Forever, Worth's brother James made James live forever, and James was your bassist. For every new subscriber on my podcast, I donate $10 to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I'm
Hmm.
on the board here in Western New York. Um, if you could just maybe share James how his impact on all the pretty things and you guys as a whole and going forward into this new forever that you guys are creating for yourselves.
Yeah, man, James was the coolest. Just like a really bright light person. And I wouldn't even say I was nearly the closest to him. Obviously, Worth was the closest to him. But Tristan had a great relationship with him as well. And everybody in the music scene around here who's not a part of this band um, loved James. James was like just the coolest. I remember I used to have him over sometimes when I was living in this wacky house on the outskirts of town, and we would all just like jam for hours. That was like our thing. We would just like invite people over, whoever it was, just people that we trusted from around here to be able to fit in and keep up with the jam. And James would come by sometimes and just like we couldn't stop him from playing the bass. It was just like he would just go and go and go, and we didn't want to stop. But I mean, he killed it, man. And like we still talk about James like constantly. I mean, I live with Worth, and we have the studio down there, and James comes up all the time about everything, music or otherwise, and it's just he's still very much a part of everything we create because of that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing just having music bring you guys together from the current life and the next life. Mike Holden, he's a very big influence for me in my podcast and just me as a person. I lost my buddy just about a year and a half before you lost James, and I connect with that. You talk about him, it just comes real natural, and the music brings you guys together and really keeps them alive right here. And
Yeah.
it's like, James is just still you hear him in the bass and everything like that. So, hey man, salute to James and to you guys, man. Cheers.
James. Heck yeah. Yeah.
But
No, he's still very much a part of things, and I appreciate you asking about him.
oh, of course, man. Of course. You guys like movies. You like to incorporate movie quotes into your titles. I mean, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective,
Oh yeah.
and are there any movies that come to mind that maybe you associate your band with?
um, well, I personally associate everything I ever do with Mrs. Doubtfire, but that doesn't that probably sounds insane that I said that out loud. But I just like I'm resisting making Doubtfire quotes even now, just because it's part of my language set. That is just what I do. But dude,
R.I.P. Robin Williams. Robin Williams passed away in 2014. R.I.P. him. that was a surprise that has brought me to AFSP and to really talk about, your
Hmm.
things. Well, Robin Williams, yeah, could you give us any kind of Mrs. Doubtfire or geez, it's so funny. Pierce Brosnan, just before James Bond, he was that dick.
Stu. Stuart Dunmire was his name in the film. Excellent guy. He wasn't trying to hurt anybody. He just wanted to build a $500 an Airbnb, and he chose Sally Field. You know, Miranda Hillard. He chose her. She was the best interior designer he had ever met, and just so happens an old flame. A lot of controversy there, but we all got over it. Um, Tried to kill him with some pepper at dinner that night, but I think they worked it out. There was a handshake at the end of all that, as men do after they apparently try and poison each other with things they're allergic to. I have derailed, but yeah, dude, I love some Doubtfire. I also feel like the band is constantly quoting Jurassic Park, and then last time when we were all together recording parts of the record, we couldn't stop with this obsession with 1999's The Mummy featuring Brendan Fraser. And we just kept saying that the whole weekend. We kept watching all the Mummy movies. It was really spectacular. I'm sure there's I'm sure there's just no limit to the shit we could all talk together about random 90s, early 2000s movies that are just highly quotable. Any of the Jim Carrey stuff, Robin Williams stuff, it's all there.
It's very, excuse me, it's very 90s of you to mention Mrs. Doubtfire. Uh, I mean, said no one ever, Mrs. Doubtfire, to influence, the creative of a band, and that's great. You don't know where creativity comes from; it just comes from anywhere. Robin
Yep.
Williams dressed up as a lady, vacuuming and dancing, or it's gonna be, the Book of the Dead coming out, and the guy's like, "OM, OM," or God, he put me on the spot with the Mummy, dude. Mummy top five for me, and that's
Oh,
all.
it's great.
Great soundtrack too. Do you guys
Oh yeah.
you guys got any favorite soundtracks or scores? I mean, the '90s was filled with them.
90s was filled with them. We obviously all love the Hans Zimmer stuff, man, because he's just been absolutely killing it. John Williams was always the damn champion. Um, Man, I've watched some stuff recently. I need to go back and write all this down. Whose score that I thought was unique and like gripping. And then there's the one that I really like to talk about from recent years is It Follows. Did you ever watch It Follows?
It Follows. Any relation to Pennywise the Clown or anything like that?
Mm-mm. No, it's dude, honestly, it's an extremely unique idea for a horror movie for a change. Um, and this guy, what's his name? I think it was it Danger Mouse? I think did the score. I don't want to falsify any information here. It Follows score. I'm pretty sure it was Danger Mouse.
Yeah, It Follows. I'll check it
Oh,
out.
sorry, Disasterpeace. I was thinking of a totally different thing. Disasterpeace.
Slipknot?
Right. Yeah, but the guy's just called Disasterpeace. I was like, I know I've heard that somewhere.
Damn.
And dude, there was something so unique and like horrifying about the score, but it also had this very authentically like 80s vibe to it. But he managed to not do 80s in like a cheesy, obvious, the Cars sort of way or anything, but he like made it genuinely terrifying. It was a terrifying companion to the film itself, which was also very terrifying.
Well, influences could come from anywhere. Scores, soundtracks, anything like that. We have Logan Tabor here with All the Pretty Things, who have been yeah, who've been releasing the occasional single, got the record out, cool artwork, got the tour coming up here, hopefully in the summertime. But All the Pretty Things, I located a 1960s similar bands with your similar name. Excuse me. Um, but how is it spelled, and where did the name come from?
Oh, yeah, it's just all the pretty things. One word. Um, that's our vibe. And then
Like in caps, all caps, or is it separated each letter, or
typically all caps, just like one word, and it's yeah, typically an all caps thing. Sometimes we'll go lowercase if we're feeling crazy. Yeah, usually in all caps, one word, all the pretty things. No relation to the pretty things from the 60s, 70s era. Um, but honestly, don't know where it came from. Tristan uh, felt pretty strongly about it. I think it's something he had like carried with him for a while that like he knew he wanted to call a particular project that. And then when this thing started to materialize, he posed that and we were all like, kind of seems to fit the genre. It's got a thing about it that we all like. The music kind of sounds like that. We try to keep everything pretty regardless of how heavy it gets. There's always like this wash of pretty synths or reverb guitars in the background. There's always some prettiness happening regardless of how wild things get. So it just seemed like it fit, and yeah, we've been having luck with it. So
yeah, apparently
nothing
there's
new.
some prettiness going on the front stage and the microphone, with
Hey, hey,
Logan here, and
yeah, yeah.
it works. All you guys look pretty, so I commend you
Well,
all.
thank you very much. We
Yeah,
we, we
I'll do
appreciate that.
it. Oh,
It would be a tragedy if we had called ourselves that and then we were just faces for radio.
this is true. This is true. You guys are a bunch of studs up there on stage, and when you when you talk about touring, in the initial phase here of what you guys have going on, East Coast, West Coast, all over the place. You guys going to Sri Lanka? What's up?
If you've gotten in Sri Lanka, just go ahead and send your information to Jamie. Forward that contact to Jamie, and we'll be there because that sounds fantastic.
I hear they have good cinnamon there.
Yeah, it's the best cinnamon in the world.
If you like cinnamon, cinnamon and sugar, I think Stone Temple Pilots have a really cool song named Cinnamon. But anyway, I don't think Stone Temple Pilots have played Sri Lanka, but maybe All the Pretty Things could be the very first band to ever play Sri Lanka.
Let's get us out there, man. Let's work on this together. I'll contact you immediately following the interview. We will find someone who can book us in Sri Lanka. And I believe we can do this. But
It's funny,
yeah,
dude.
well, so this first tour is going to be an East Coast thing, um, and we're hoping to sort of start branching out west after that. But honestly, man, because we're just now starting to really tour and put ourselves in front of people, I mean, hitting the East Coast market a few times in a row is pretty appealing. I mean, we need to beat it into people's heads, that we're serious and that we are a good live act and the songs hold up from the studio to the stage. Um, so, dude, we're all just pumped to even be doing it. It's like it's the thing that we all want to do all the time. And I mean, you could put me at like a weird crab festival um, in a terrible place in Florida or something like that, and I'd be pumped to just play. You know?
Pop to just pluck and just play, and you sing only, right? You're on the mic and you're doing your thing.
Yeah, there was talk, I think, for a while there of maybe me occasionally picking up a third guitar. But just from a show standpoint, I think we want to keep it as everybody's as free as possible. Me being the singer, I can sometimes put on a little better show if I don't have my hands tied to an instrument or something like that. But if it ever comes up, I mean, I've been a multi-instrumentalist my whole life. I'm sort of more like a utilitarian than a master of anything. I'm a master of zero things. Um, but I can kind of do a lot of stuff. So if we needed a live keyboard situation to happen, I can cover it. I think it'd be fun eventually, but I think we kind of just want to come out swinging this first time around.
Sure, sure. Yeah, we have Logan here of All the Pretty Things. And if for our viewers, you're finding any value in talking Sri Lanka and cinnamon and all sorts of good stuff. Hit a like or subscribe. I really appreciate it. I make that donation to AFSP, so thank you. One question I wanted to ask you, brother, is not a question that I've actually been meaning to ask this to any of my previous guests who are performers. If you're watching this video right now, more than likely you have never performed on stage. So when you hit the stage, Logan, with your boys, what's going through your head when you're singing and you have people watching you? Like, is there something that you personally do to kind of get in the mode? Or, I mean, how does that feel, if that's a feeling that you could even describe when you are performing music that you actually created for people to enjoy their lives to?
That's a cool question. Man, I'm not gonna lie, one of the primary things I'm thinking is don't sound bad.
Yeah,
Always.
it's realistic.
Don't you sound bad, Logan. You better sound good. But after that, honestly, dude, I'm just like, I'm one of those guys that's like happy to be here, boys. Thanks for including me. Like, um, and I mean, there is a sense of responsibility as well. It's like we spent a lot of time making these songs, making them pop format friendly, even though they're heavy rock songs, not pop songs necessarily, but making them as appealing to the broadest audience we possibly can. And trying our best to deliver on production and songwriting and performance. So there is a sense of responsibility. It's like it's not always just fun and games. Like, yeah, we want to go out there and have fun, but there are a lot of expectations from people as well. It's like put out a record that sounds great on the recording, and if you can't back it up live, it's a bit of a letdown. Well, that's not a concern of ours, but it is something that lives with you, so to speak, when you're on stage. It's like, we have a responsibility to these people who paid money. Like, dude, not everybody just wants to spend $30 or whatever it is to go see a show, but they want to be at the show. So, they sacrifice whatever they had to sacrifice to allocate that money towards going to your show. And yeah, dude, they deserve to see a good performance. And whether or not they are there to see you, or whether or not they've heard of your band, dude, like they paid for the next 4 hours of their life to be awesome. And it's kind of our job to contribute to that. So that's a lot of what's going through my head before, during, and after the show.
Well put. Yeah, I think the showmanship is so important as a performing band, not just to kind of because people could tell when you're going through the motions or just standing there and lollygagging around. But
Right.
man, oh man, yeah. So you're with performing, um, you got some screams. Like do you warm up going into it, or do you just fucking go for it? Don't fuck up.
Um, Man, I'm sorry. This thing is bothering me. I'm gonna stop this right exactly now. Um, Warming up. Yeah, I definitely have to warm up because there's some stuff on the record that's if you just go into it cold, can be a little bit painful. Can wear you out pretty quickly. Um, I've always found that with this type of music, and this part of my voice that I use primarily to do a lot of like the bigger choruses, where it's not terribly high pitched, but it's like kind of aggressive and in your face. I found that like working up to that throughout the day, sort of starting off slow in how much you speak to people, in what register of your voice you speak to people, throughout, like to not, they talk about it as like a jar of pennies, and every time you speak, you take a penny out of the jar and you throw it into the trash can. And if you've spoken so much by the end of the day, there's no pennies left. So you kind of got to take it easy in your interactions with people before and after a show. And I like to kind of, dude, like 30 minutes before a show, just start to like rip into it backstage. And it usually doesn't go incredibly well, just like coming out of the gate like that. But then, you find the spot that you need before the show, give yourself a break for 20 minutes, and then it's usually relatively where I need it to be. But also, dude, doing like push-ups and stuff for whatever reason helps. It's like full body blood flow or something like that, an adrenaline thing. I don't know what it is, but it honestly like evens out any tension that's going on or maybe going on prior to a show. It's weird, but I it works.
Yeah, all the pretty things. You got to come out and look a little buff too when you're out there.
Yeah, maybe.
This has to match this. And you had a neck surgery? Did I see that? Pretty significant neck surgery?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. If, I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can see it because the lighting in here is garbage. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see the top of it there. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
No
a while
headbanging?
back.
No
What's
headbanging
that?
for you?
No, there'll be headbanging. Technically, what the doctors tell me is that I'm an X-Man, um, and I'm now have a stronger skeleton than everybody else on the planet. So apparently, I'm cleared for headbanging, is what they say. But yeah, I broke my C6 neck vertebrae a while back, being an idiot, and now it's fused via screws and bars to 5, 6, and 7. They're all like technically one neck bone now.
Well, you're like the Terminator. That's very, very metal. Very
Yeah.
metal.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. I am like the Terminator.
Logan, man, I just want to say thank you for coming on and hanging out on I Ask No One. All the pretty things to our viewers, keep a lookout. I'm going to share links below to how you could find this pretty thing in the other side of the screen over here. There you go. Yep, yep. But in closing, anything you'd like to share with whoever has the pleasure of viewing our video?
Um, no, I mean, I feel like we did a good job here,
I
you and
think we
I.
did a
We
good
covered
job.
a lot of
Yeah,
stuff. We did the mummy. And
yeah.
this is Doubtfire, the neck thing, warm ups. Yeah, I feel like we did it all. I mean, just follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever your streaming service of choice is, and give us some spins, see if you like it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry about that. I feel like you're gonna like it, but if you don't, give me a call. We'll talk it out. That's all.
Boom. That's it. Hey, may James live forever, brother.
Oh
And
yeah.
I will be thinking about him, today and tonight. I'm gonna play some all the pretty things music. But to the viewers again, a like and subscribe, really appreciate it. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay hungry, and Logan, stay heavy, man.
Hell yes.
Love that effect. All right, man. Later.
Dude, thanks for having me. This was great.
It was a fun time, man. Peace.
Yeah, for sure.